All right, Shalom. I want to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shema, Shabbat, Shem, Kakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And Shalom to all the pushing the word of sincerity and truth. And I have this article on the United States national debt. It says that the U.S. gross national debt jumped by 1.2 trillion in fiscal 2019 to 22.7 trillion, hits 106.5% of GDP. Yeah, and this is just more bad news for America, as America's on its way out. The financial standard of America is dilapidating. You know, um, the constant conflicts and turmoil within America is being bombarded internally and externally by various forces. You have this whole thing with Trump, and the impeachment and all kind of situations and scuffles within the politicians, the Democratic, Congress and, the presidential offices. There's all kind of division within those borders. America's being hit on all angles, and we see that this is the end. The scripture spoke about end time prophecy, and this is nothing more than ancient Rome again. Ancient Rome got hit and bombarded by all kind of things, and their financial system was one thing that took a pivotal hit. And not long, we witnessed the fall of Rome. It's historically accurate. You can research Rome in its apex. It was at it was the epicenter of the world at the time. Everybody flocked to Rome for whether it was celebrations, entertainment, trading, great financial deals and things of that nature. But they never expected that society to fall as swiftly as it did. So I'm going to read a little bit on this article. It says, but what happens if there's an actual recession? The U.S. gross national debt jumped by 110 billion on the last 2 business days of fiscal year 2019 and by a breathtaking 1.2 trillion during the entire fiscal year. After having already jumped by 1.27 trillion in fiscal 2018, the Treasury Department reported today this ballooned the U.S. gross national debt to a vertigo-inducing 22.72 trillion. These beautiful trillions whipping by are a joy to behold, so much action in so little time. The flat spots in the chart below are the results of debt ceiling charade in Congress. When the debt ceiling is lifted, the debt spikes back to trend and nothing has changed. Of course, you see the debt ceiling constantly growing. You see the national debt, like it says, it jumped all the way to 1.2 trillion. And I'm going to read a little bit more. During fiscal 2019, the gross national debt increased by 5.6% and now amounts to 106.5% of current dollar GDP, up from 104.5% at the end of the fiscal 2019. The thing to remember here is that this thing isn't the Great Recession or the financial crisis, when over 10 million people lose their jobs and credit froze up and companies went bankrupt and tax revenues plunged while outlays soared to pay for unemployment insurance and the like. This isn't even the collapse of everything, but the longest expansion of economy in the U.S. history. Over the last 4 quarters, the U.S. economy, as measured by nominal GDP, grew by 4%. Over the same period, the U.S. gross national debt grew by 5.6%. In dollar terms, it looks even funnier. The economy, as measured by nominal GDP over the past 4 quarters, grew by 830 billion. The gross national debt grew by 1.2 trillion. And Esau is going to try to make it seem like it's not a big deal, but this place is showing itself to be more and more undependable, so to speak. You have these jakes that really depend and they rely on the financial and the standard of America, and America is falling more and more, and it's countless articles that's showing from financial experts, individuals that project the market. They know it's going to be another crash. They know it's going to be another financial recession and a depression, and it's going to come to the point there's going to be massive inflation. Purchases of goods and products is going to be basically, you got to basically chop an arm off to even get a bar of soap. The famine scripture speak about is going to be a famine within the land of America and all throughout the world. And you have to have faith in these end times in order to stay stable and to stay with the proper mindset in order to endure in these times. So this is Revelation 18:2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitations of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Right, so as we're familiar of, America is represents Babylon the Great, and they're fallen. You know, like I said, when you go into Greece, when you go into ancient Babylon, when you go into the Medes and the Persians, those kingdoms were great.